Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, glad to be back.
This time we're looking at something that I think a lot of our listeners are going to find pretty interesting.
Definitely.
It's all about skincare.
The future of faces.
Exactly. So the future of faces, the global cosmetic skincare market to be exact.
Right, we're going global with this one.
And we're going to be digging into a report called the Global Cosmetic Skincare Market Report 2025, Global Edition. And that's by Cognitive Market Research.
Catchy title.
Yeah, it rolls right off the tongue.
Definitely.
This report has the ID number CMR 396368, and they updated it just this past January, so it's got some really fresh insights.
Oh, very cool. Very.
And, they didn't just look at like 1 year. They actually went all the way back to 2021, looked at the market up to 2024, and they used 2024 as their base year to estimate what's going to happen in 2025, and then all the way out to 2033. So it's like a crystal ball for the skincare industry.
Long-term view.
Yeah, exactly. And what's really interesting is their main finding, because it gives us like a roadmap for where things are headed. And it's big. I mean, they're predicting that the global cosmetic skincare market is going to reach a whopping 214.78 billion USD in 2025. That's huge.
Yeah, that's not small potatoes.
No, not at all. But it gets even bigger because by 2033, they think it's going to hit 352.8 billion USD, and that's with a steady growth rate, an average yearly growth rate of 6.48%. So it's not like a one-time jump. This is consistent growth, a compound annual growth rate of 6.40%.
A CAGR. Yeah, a CAGR of 6.40%. That's significant. That tells us that the demand for skincare products isn't just some passing trend. It's here to stay, and it's only getting bigger.
Exactly. So when you think about that 6.40% CAGR, what's really striking is the consistency, right? It's not a sudden spike. It's this steady upward climb, and that really highlights how deeply ingrained skincare is becoming in, I think, cultures around the world.
Yeah, it's like you said, like a global phenomenon.
Totally. So let's zoom in a bit. In 2025, that global market size, we said, is going to be about 214.78 billion USD. And by 2033, it's projected to be 352.8 billion USD. So that gives you an idea of the scale we're talking about.
Right, we're talking serious money here.
Right. But of course, the growth isn't evenly distributed.
Of course not.
Different regions are moving at different paces. And that probably reflects different factors at play in each of those areas.
Absolutely. Different cultural influences, different economic conditions, even things like climate can have an impact.
Right. So why don't we break down those regions one by one, kind of go on a little world tour of the skincare market, and we can start with North America, good old familiar territory for many of us.
That's good.
So in 2025, they estimate that North America's market size is going to be about 50.47 billion USD, which is actually a really big chunk of the global pie, over 40%. And their forecasted growth rate, that CAGR, is about 5.5% between 2025 and 2033.
Not too shabby.
No, not at all. And within North America, the United States is obviously the powerhouse. Their market in 2025 is estimated at 39.82 billion USD, and they have a CAGR of about 5.3%. Then you've got Canada at 6.06 billion USD with a slightly faster growth rate, 6.3%, and then Mexico at 4.59 billion USD, and they're projected to grow at about 6.0%. So you've got this pretty robust market across North America.
Right, and you have to wonder what's driving all of that growth. I mean, what's making North America such a strong performer in the skincare market?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, or should we say the multi-billion-dollar question?
Exactly.
Well, the report points to a few key factors. First of all, there's just a really high level of consumer awareness about skincare in North America. People are bombarded with information, ads, it's everywhere.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
And that leads to, people being more interested in taking care of their skin. They know what products are out there. They know what the supposed benefits are.
Right, and it becomes part of the culture, part of the daily routine.
Exactly. And then, of course, you've got to consider disposable income. North America, generally speaking, has a higher disposable income compared to many other regions, and that means people have more money to spend on things like skincare products. It becomes more of a priority.
It goes from being a luxury to being more of an essential.
Right. And then there's also the whole, focus on appearance, which is pretty big in North America. There's a lot of emphasis on looking good and feeling good, and skincare plays into that. It's seen as a way to, enhance your appearance and boost your confidence.
Yeah, it's like an investment in yourself.
Exactly. And then if we look at the specific types of products that are really popular in North America, two categories stand out: anti-aging products and anything marketed as organic or cruelty-free.
So there's a real focus on both effectiveness and ethics.
Yeah, people want products that work, but they also want to know that they're not harming themselves, animals, or the environment in the process.
Right, it's a more holistic approach to beauty and skincare.
Exactly. And then, of course, you've got to consider the role of the big skincare brands and the retail networks. North America has a very well-established retail infrastructure. You've got department stores, specialty beauty stores, drugstores, online retailers. It's incredibly easy for people to get their hands on skincare products.
So access is key.
Yeah, definitely. So that's kind of a snapshot of North America, a market that's already pretty mature but still has room for growth.
Right, it's a dynamic market.
Now let's shift gears and head over to Europe, another major player in the global skincare scene.
Ooh, Europe, the land of luxury skincare.
Right, and in 2025, their market size is estimated to be about 57.99 billion USD, which gives them a little over 30% of the global market share, so they're a significant force. But their projected CAGR is a bit lower than North America's. It's about 4.8%.
So still growing, but maybe at a more measured pace.
Yeah, it seems like, of course, Europe is a very diverse region. You've got a lot of different countries, cultures, and economies all kind of bundled together. So let's unpack that a bit, starting with some of the key players.
All right, let's dive in.
So the UK, their market is projected to be about 9.74 billion USD with a TGR of 5.6%. Then you've got Germany, which is a big one, at 11.48 billion USD and a KGR of 5.0%. Then France at 5.34 billion USD with a 4.0% CAGR. Italy close behind at 4.99 billion USD and 4.2% CAGR.
So we're seeing some variation even in the major markets.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got Russia, which is interesting. They have a substantial market size at 8.99 billion USD, but a lower projected growth rate at 3.8%. Then Spain at 4.76 billion USD with a 3.9% CAGR.
So some are speeding up, some are slowing down.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. And then the report also highlights some smaller but still noteworthy markets like Sweden, which is at 1.80 billion USD with a 4.9% CAGR, Switzerland at 0.87 billion USD with a 4.5% CAGR, and even Luxembourg, tiny but mighty, at 0.70 billion USD with a 5.1% CAGR. And then all the rest of Europe combined, that's a market of 8.12 billion USD with a CAGR of 3.5%.
Wow, so many different pieces to the European puzzle.
Right, it's a complex landscape. But when we look at the factors driving the skincare market in Europe, there are some similarities to North America, but also some key differences.
Okay, so what are the common threads?
Well, like North America, you've got that rising consumer awareness about skincare. People are more educated about their skin, the ingredients, the different product options, and they're more willing to invest time and money into their skincare routine.
Right, it's becoming less about vanity and more about self-care.
Exactly. And then, again, you have to consider disposable income. While there are variations across different European countries, overall, there's a decent level of disposable income, which allows people to spend on skincare products.
So similar to North America, skincare is becoming more accessible to a wider range of consumers.
Yeah, definitely. But here's where we start to see some of those key differences. In Europe, there's a really strong emphasis on quality, especially when it comes to skincare products.
Ah, so the Made in Europe label still carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, there's a perception, often rightfully so, that European skincare products are high quality, they use premium ingredients, and they're backed by research and innovation. And consumers are willing to pay a premium for that.
It's about trust and reputation.
Exactly. And then there's also a huge demand for natural and anti-aging products in Europe. Those are two categories that are really booming.
So European consumers are looking for both natural solutions and ways to defy the aging process.
Right. They want to look good, but they also want to do it in a way that's kind to their skin and the environment.
It's a more mindful approach to beauty.
Totally. And another key factor in Europe is the role of established and trusted brands. You've got a lot of heritage brands with long histories and strong reputations for quality, and those brands still hold a lot of sway in the market.
Right, it's that legacy of craftsmanship and expertise.
Exactly. And then alongside those established brands, you've got a lot of innovation happening in the European skincare industry. There's a constant stream of new products, new technologies, new ingredients, and that keeps the market exciting and keeps consumers engaged.
So it's a good balance of tradition and innovation.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And then finally, you've got to consider the distribution channels. Europe has a really strong retail network, both traditional brick-and-mortar stores and a very well-developed e-commerce sector.
So consumers have a lot of options when it comes to where they buy their skincare products.
Exactly, and that makes it easy for them to find what they're looking for and get it conveniently.
Right. Convenience is key in today's busy world.
Totally. So that's a glimpse into the European skincare market, a market that's a bit more mature than North America's, but still has plenty of room for growth, driven by a focus on quality, natural ingredients, anti-aging solutions, and a mink of trusted brands and innovative newcomers.
Right. It's a market to watch.
Absolutely. Now let's hop over to the Asia-Pacific region, often referred to as APAC. And this is where things get really interesting because APAC is projected to be the fastest growing region in the global skincare market.
Okay, this is where the action is.
Yeah, definitely. So in 2025, their market size is estimated to be a massive 85.91 billion USD, which is about 23% of the global share. But here's the real kicker. Their CAGR is a whopping 7.7%, which is significantly higher than both North America and Europe.
Wow, those are some impressive numbers. It sounds like APAC is the place to be for skincare brands right now.
Yeah, it's a market with huge potential, and when you look at the individual countries within APAC, it's even more impressive.
All right, give me the rundown.
So China, as you might expect, is leading the charge. Their market in 2025 is projected to be a mind-boggling 36.08 billion USD with a CAGR of 7.2%. And you've got Japan, another major player, at 11.86 billion USD and a 6.2% CAGR. South Korea is also significant, 10.31 billion USD with a 6.8% CAGR.
So the big three are really pulling their weight?
Yeah, they're driving a lot of the growth. But then there's India, and India is the real standout story. They have the fastest anticipated growth in the entire APAC region. Their market size in 2025 is projected to be 8.59 billion USD, but their CAGR is an incredible 9.6%, so they're growing at an almost double-digit rate.
That's phenomenal. I mean, what's fueling that kind of growth in India?
It's a combination of factors. First of all, India has a huge and very young population, so there's a massive potential consumer base for skincare products. And as their economy grows and disposable incomes rise, more and more people are able to afford these products.
So it's a demographic and economic sweet spot.
Exactly. And then there's a rising awareness of skincare in India.
Yeah.
People are becoming more knowledgeable about their skin, the different product options, and the benefits of having a good skincare routine. And this awareness is being fueled in part by social media and the influence of beauty bloggers and influencers.
Right. Social media is a game changer in this industry.
Totally. And then there's also a growing preference for natural and organic products in India. As people become more health conscious and environmentally aware, they're seeking out products that are perceived as being gentler on their skin and the planet.
It's that shift towards conscious consumerism that we're seeing globally.
Exactly. And then alongside those trends, you've got the advancements in skincare technologies and the rapid expansion of e-commerce in India, which are making a wider variety of products more accessible to more people.
So it's a perfect storm of factors driving this incredible growth in India.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And it's not just India. Other APAC markets are also performing well. You've got Australia at 4.47 billion USD with a 7.0% CAGR, Singapore at 1.72 billion USD with a strong 8.0% CAGR, Taiwan at 3.35 billion USD and a 7.5% CAGR, Southeast Asia as a whole at 5.67 billion USD and a robust 8.5% CAGR. And then the rest of APAC combined is at 3.87 billion USD with a 7.5% CAGR.
So it's a region that's really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamism and excitement in the APAC skincare market, driven by large and growing populations, rising disposable incomes, increasing awareness of skincare, a preference for natural and organic products, advancements in technology, and the rapid expansion of e-commerce.
It's a region to watch, that's for sure.
Definitely. Now let's head south to South America, another region with a lot of growth potential.
All right, let's explore the Southern Hemisphere.
So in 2025, their estimated market size is 7.52 billion USD, which gives them a little over 5% of the global share, and they have a healthy projected CAGR of 7.5%, which is right up there with APAC in terms of percentage growth.
So they're not too far behind the Asian giants.
No, they're definitely holding their own, and when you look at the individual countries within South America, Brazil is the clear leader. Their market size in 2025 is projected to be 3.22 billion USD, and they're expected to see the fastest growth in the region with an 8.1% CAGR.
So Brazil is the one to watch in South America.
Yeah, it's a big market with a lot of momentum. And then you've got Argentina following closely behind at 1.26 billion USD with an even higher projected growth rate of 8.4%, so they're one to keep an eye on as well.
It's interesting how these regional dynamics play out. Some countries are big but growing slowly,
Hmm.
others are small but growing rapidly.
Yeah, it's all about finding those pockets of opportunity. And then you've got Colombia at 0.67 billion USD with a 7.3% CAGR, Peru at 0.62 billion USD with a 7.7% CAGR, Chile at 0.54 billion USD with a 7.8% CAGR, and then the rest of South America combined is at 1.21 billion USD with a CAGR of 6.6%. So you've got solid growth across the board in South America.
Right, it's a region that's clearly on the rise.
Definitely. When we look at the factors driving this growth, there are some common themes that we've seen in other regions, like a growing middle class with more disposable income, which allows people to spend more on things like skincare.
It's that economic empowerment that opens up new markets.
Exactly. And then you've got that rising level of awareness about skincare. People are more informed about the benefits of having a good skincare routine, and they're more willing to invest in products that promise to improve their skin.
Right, it's becoming less about just looking good and more about feeling good in your own skin.
Totally. And then there's the shift in consumer preference towards organic and natural products. That's something we're seeing globally, but it's particularly strong in South America where there's a real connection to nature and a desire for products that are perceived as being pure and healthy.
It's about aligning with a more natural and sustainable lifestyle.
Exactly. And then, of course, you can't ignore the impact of e-commerce, which is making it easier for people in South America to access a wider variety of products, both local and international.
So e-commerce is breaking down barriers and expanding markets.
Yeah, it's a game changer. So that's a quick look at South America, a region that's poised for continued growth in the skincare market, thanks to its growing middle class, rising awareness of skincare, a preference for organic and natural products, and the expanding reach of e-commerce.
Sounds like a recipe for success.
Now let's journey over to the Middle East, a region that often gets overlooked, but is actually a significant player in the global skincare market.
Okay, let's uncover the hidden gems of the Middle East.
So their market size in 2025 is projected to be about 6.44 billion USD, which is around 2% of the global share. And they have a solid projected CGR of 7.3%, so they're definitely not standing still.
Not bad at all, especially considering the size of the market.
Yeah, it's a region with a lot of potential, and within the Middle East, Saudi Arabia is the biggest player. Their market is estimated to be about 2.27 billion USD with a CGR of 7.6%. Then you've got the UAE close behind at 1.33 billion USD with a slightly higher CGR of 7.8%. And then the rest of the Middle East combined is projected at 1.43 billion USD with a CGR of 6.5%.
So Saudi Arabia and the UAE are really leading the way.
Yeah, they're the dominant forces, but other countries are also making their mark. Turkey, for example, is a significant market at 0.52 billion USD and is expected to see the fastest growth in the region with a 7.9% CAGR. So they're one to watch.
It's always interesting to see which countries are emerging as the next growth hotspots.
Definitely. And then you've got Qatar, also at 0.52 billion USD, but with a slightly lower CGR of 6.8%. And then Egypt at 0.39 billion USD with a 7.1% CAGR. So you've got a pretty dynamic mix of markets within the Middle East.
Right, a mix of established players and up-and-comers.
And when we look at the factors driving this growth in the Middle East, we see some familiar patterns like increasing disposable incomes, especially in countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, which allows people to spend more on discretionary items like skincare products.
That economic factor always plays a role.
Yeah, it's fundamental. And then you've got the rising awareness of skincare and beauty. People in the Middle East are very conscious of their appearance, and they're increasingly seeking out products that promise to enhance their natural beauty.
Right, it's about investing in yourself and projecting an image of health and well-being.
Exactly. And then there's the impact of urbanization. As more people move to cities, they're exposed to new trends and new products, and they're more likely to adopt a modern skincare routine.
It's that urban lifestyle that drives a lot of consumer behavior.
Totally. And then you've got the influence of social media, which is huge in the Middle East. People are constantly bombarded with images and information about beauty and skincare, and that creates a lot of demand for the latest and greatest products.
Social media is like a global beauty influencer.
Yeah, it sets the trends and shapes perceptions. And then finally, you've got the expanding presence of both global and local skincare brands in the Middle East, which gives consumers more choices and more competition, which is always good for the market.
Right, keeps things interesting and keeps prices in check.
Exactly. So that's a quick overview of the Middle East, a region that's often underestimated, but is actually a significant and growing market for skincare products, driven by increasing disposable incomes, a growing awareness of beauty and skincare, rapid urbanization, the influence of social media, and the expanding presence of both global and local brands.
A market with a lot of potential.
Absolutely. Now let's wrap up our world tour with a stop in Africa, a continent that's often overlooked, but is actually home to some of the fastest growing economies in the world.
All right, let's explore the beauty landscape of Africa.
Their estimated market size for 2025 is about 6.44 billion USD, which puts them at around 1% of the global share, and they have a projected CAGR of 6.4%, which is very respectable, especially considering that they're starting from a smaller base.
Right, they have a lot of catching up to do, but they're moving in the right direction.
Definitely. And within Africa, South Africa is the clear leader. Their market size is projected at 2.27 billion USD, and they're expected to see the fastest growth in the region with a 7.3% CAGR, so they're definitely the ones to watch.
South Africa seems to be punching above its weight.
Yeah, they're a strong performer, and then you've got the rest of Africa combined at 3.66 billion USD with a 5.6% CAGR. And Nigeria is also a notable market at 0.52 billion USD with a CAGR of 6.6%. So you've got some pockets of real growth happening across the continent.
It's interesting how the growth is distributed. Some countries are leading the way while others are still playing catch up.
Yeah, it's a very diverse landscape, but there are some common factors driving growth across Africa, like increasing consumer awareness about skincare, people becoming more educated about their skin, the different product options, and the benefits of having a good skincare routine.
Education is always key to market growth.
Totally. And then you've got rising disposable incomes, especially among a growing middle class, which allows people to spend more on discretionary items like skincare products.
It's that economic empowerment that fuels consumer spending.
Exactly. And then there are some broader cultural shifts happening in Africa, where people are starting to prioritize beauty and personal care more than they have in the past.
Right, it's about embracing self-care and feeling good about yourself.
Definitely. And then, of course, you can't ignore the influence of social media, which is huge in Africa. People are constantly bombarded with images and information about beauty and skincare, and that's creating a lot of demand for the latest and greatest products.
Social media is a powerful force shaping beauty standards and consumer behavior.
Yeah, it's a game changer. And then finally, you got the increasing presence of skincare brands in Africa, both global and local, which is giving consumers more choices and more access to high-quality products.
So it's a market that's opening up and becoming more competitive.
Exactly. So that's a snapshot of the African skincare market, a market that's still relatively small but is growing rapidly, driven by increasing consumer awareness, rising disposable incomes, cultural shifts, the influence of social media, and the expanding presence of skincare brands.
A continent with a lot of potential.
Absolutely. So we've taken this whirlwind tour around the world, looking at the skincare market in different regions, and it's clear that this is a global phenomenon with growth happening everywhere, albeit at different paces and for different reasons.
It's fascinating how diverse the market is, yet there are some common threads running through it all.
Totally. And now let's shift gears a bit and look at some of the specific products and segments that are driving this growth. And one of the biggest trends we see is the rise of anti-aging products. I mean, they are the fastest growing category overall.
That makes sense. I mean, who doesn't want to stay youthful forever?
Right. It's a universal desire. And with an aging global population and an increasing emphasis on looking and feeling your best, it's no surprise that anti-aging products are in such high demand.
It's a market that's only going to get bigger.
Exactly. And when we dig deeper into product types, we see that creams and moisturizers are really leading the charge in terms of growth, and that's probably because they're such foundational products in most people's skincare routines.
Right. They're the bread and butter of skincare.
Yeah, they address those basic needs of hydration and protection. But what's interesting is that creams and moisturizers are also evolving. They're not just about basic hydration anymore. They're incorporating anti-aging properties. They're becoming more specialized, and that's driving a lot of the growth in this segment.
So it's about innovation and meeting the evolving needs of consumers.
Totally. And then when we look at the ingredients that are driving growth, it gets really interesting because we see a bit of a paradox. On the one hand, you've got this huge demand for organic and natural products, which reflects a broader trend towards clean beauty and sustainability.
Right. People want products that are good for them and good for the planet.
Exactly. But on the other hand, we're also seeing rapid growth in inorganic ingredients, which might seem counterintuitive at first.
So what's the story there?
Well, it turns out that inorganic ingredients offer some key benefits that consumers are starting to appreciate, like stability in formulations, effectiveness in addressing specific skin concerns, and a longer shelf life.
So it's not an either situation. There's room for both organic and inorganic ingredients in the skincare market.
Yeah, it's about finding the right balance and using the best ingredients for the job. And then when we look at end use, the report highlights two key segments that are driving growth: women and men.
So skincare is no longer just a woman's thing.
Exactly. While women still account for the majority of the market, men are catching up fast. As more men become aware of the benefits of skincare and grooming, the demand for male-specific products is skyrocketing.
It's a market that's ripe for disruption.
Totally. And then when we look at price points, we see that the medium price segment, which is defined as products priced between 50 and 200 USD, is the fastest growing segment. And this suggests that consumers are becoming more discerning. They're willing to invest in quality products, but they're not necessarily splurging on luxury brands.
It's about finding that sweet spot between affordability and effectiveness.
Exactly. And then finally, when we look at distribution channels, the report confirms what we probably already suspected: e-commerce is king.
No surprise there, online shopping is taking over the world.
Yeah, it's the most convenient and often the most affordable way to buy skincare products. And with the rise of social media marketing and influencer culture, e-commerce is only going to get bigger.
It's a trend that's not going away anytime soon.
Definitely. So we've looked at where the market is growing, but what about the forces that are driving this growth? What are the key drivers, restraints, and trends that are shaping the cosmetic skincare market?
Right. Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
So one of the biggest drivers is the growing consumer preference for premium and organic products. People are willing to pay more for products that they perceive as being higher quality, more natural, and more sustainable.
It's that premiumization trend that we're seeing across many consumer categories.
Exactly. And then there's the constant innovation happening in the skincare industry: new technologies, new ingredients, new formulations, all designed to address specific skin concerns and deliver better results.
Innovation is the lifeblood of any industry.
Absolutely. And then, of course, there's the impact of social media, which can't be overstated. It's shaping beauty standards, raising brand awareness, and influencing purchasing decisions like never before.
Social media is a marketing powerhouse.
Totally. But it's not all sunshine and roses. There are also some restraints on market growth, like the high cost of some products, which can make them inaccessible to many consumers, especially in developing countries.
Affordability is a major barrier for many people.
Yeah, it's a real issue. And then there are the regulatory frameworks in different countries, which can be quite stringent, and that can impact product formulations and the speed of market entry for new products.
So regulation can be both a blessing and a curse.
Right, it's there to protect consumers, but it can also stifle innovation. And then looking ahead, some of the key trends that are likely to shape the skincare market in the coming years include personalized skincare, which is all about using technology and data to create customized products and routines tailored to individual needs.
It's the future of beauty, a more personalized and targeted approach.
Exactly. And then there's the growing demand for sustainable and eco-friendly products. As consumers become more aware of the environmental impact of their choices, they're seeking out brands that are committed to sustainability and ethical practices.
It's about aligning your values with your purchasing decisions.
Totally. So the future of skincare is looking pretty exciting, with a lot of innovation, personalization, and sustainability on the horizon.
It's a dynamic industry that's constantly evolving.
Definitely. And speaking of innovation, the report also gives us a glimpse into the competitive landscape, highlighting some of the major players in the market, like L'Oreal, Beiersdorf, Shiseido, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Johnson & Johnson, Avon, Coty, Colgate-Palmolive, and Revlon.
So the usual suspects, the big beauty conglomerates.
Yeah, these are the companies that have the resources and the reach to really shape the market. But what's interesting is that even these giants are having to adapt to the changing consumer landscape, and we see that reflected in some of their recent strategic moves.
Like what?
Well, for example, in January of 2024, L'Oreal's venture capital arm, Bold, invested in a consumer health company called Timeline. And Timeline is focused on research related to lifespan and aging, and their MitoPure technology is being used in topical skincare products and supplements.
So L'Oreal is betting on the science of aging.
Yeah, they're recognizing that consumers are increasingly interested in products that are backed by science and that offer real benefits, not just empty promises.
It's about moving beyond traditional beauty and tapping into the growing health and wellness market.
Exactly. And then December of 2023, Estee Lauder entered into a 3-year sponsorship agreement with Stanford Center's program on aesthetics and culture, and this partnership is aimed at supporting research into vitality and longevity.
So another beauty giant investing in the science of aging.
Yeah, it seems like that's where the industry is headed. towards a deeper understanding of how to maintain healthy skin and defy the aging process.
It's about moving beyond superficial beauty and embracing a more holistic approach to well-being.